a GRE issue, government funding of art threatens the integrity of art. Government funding of art threatens the integrity of art. Now, the topic will definitely force you to think, and to understand this, you must first know what the word integrity means. Integrity is a word which means two things. Integrity means honesty, being principled. If you say you cannot question someone's integrity, that means you are saying that he is a man of character. He is principled. He would not deceive, cheat. So that's one meaning. The integrity of India will be affected if we allow Article 370 to continue. We should abrogate that article. Article 370 gives special status to Kashmir, and people of Kashmir can buy land in India, but you and I cannot go to Kashmir and buy land there. So now integrity means the state of being undivided. The state of being undivided, which means united, unified, one. But the word undivided better describes the word integrity. So, the integrity of India is adversely affected because of the Article 370. Now, let's look at the sentence. Government funding of art threatens the integrity of art, which means if government funds arts, the integrity of arts, that means the state of being undivided, the state of being one, will be threatened. Now, what does that really mean? Now, if you examine this statement closely, you will realize that this is true to a large extent in our country. Government is funding film houses. For example, let's take the case of Ramoji Rao in Hyderabad. You have that Ramoji Film City. I believe more than 2,000 acres have been given. And okay, he's doing a great job. Movies are being made there, and movies employ a lot of people. It brings in income in the form of tax revenue for the government. Additionally, foreign exchange, and also, of course, Indian movies export Indian culture too. And though that is not exactly the real culture, still, nevertheless, it's not completely alien to Indian culture. Fine. Now, that's how the government defends its decision of. But has the government given so much land for Indian classical music, Indian dance? So, if you look at Indian dances, so many classical dances are there. So, for example, Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam from Tamil Nadu, Mohiniyattam from Kerala, yeah, and so on and so forth. Where is the land? If you look at arts, these are the things that should come to your mind. Fine arts. Fine arts are sculpture, architecture, painting. And then the other liberal arts or general arts are dance, drama, which means literature, poetry, everything included, and music, and movies also can be included, because in movies you have all the other six. So totally, when you talk about Indian culture, you should take into account seven components. But what is the government doing? Is the government really spending sufficient money on Indian sculpture? Where are the Indian sculptors? You have modern day architecture colleges which teach you modern architecture, but what about the ancient Indian sculpture? Where are the architects who built all those wonderful temples in India? Across the length and breadth of India, you have magnificent temples. Where are the sculptors? Where is the school for that? Yes, there are some sthapatis, some sculptors who pass it on from one generation to another. But seriously, the government has not given so much land as it has given to Ramoji Rao. Architecture, sculpture, painting, Indian painting. If you talk about Indian painting, you have so many styles. Madhubani, Tanka, Lepakshi, so on and so forth, innumerable are there. Where is the government funding for that? And then dance. Our students don't even know the names of Indian dances. You didn't even have a lesson in school. What students are learning today are Western dances. Salsa, cha-cha, rumba, papa, God knows what, all kinds of fancy, idiotic, erotic dances. Okay, some of them are good for health, all those what you call cardio related dances, Zumba and all that. But what about our classical dances? Do you know Indonesia, being a predominantly Muslim nation, is the only country where Ramayana opera is conducted 365 days of the year. And in Indonesia, their currency notes have Garuda, which is the Vahana of Lord Vishnu. And then Indonesian currency also has a picture of Ganesh. The Indonesian Islamic University, their logo is Ganesh. Sukarno, the first president of Indonesia, once said, our religion is Muslim, our religion is Islam, but our culture is Ramayana. The truth is, Indonesians, all of them were at one time Hindus. And even now, Bali, you will find the entire island is full of Hindus. Now, Indonesia is a wonderful example of a predominantly Muslim nation which continues to give a lot of support to its culture. Ramayana and all that. Even Mahabharata plays are conducted, even Sri Lanka. Now in India, if the government does that, all the secularists will be up in arms. They will say this is communalism. They will start raising a big hullabaloo. Worldwide, in every city, you will find opera houses. Now, you know the Sydney Opera House. Now, you must also know that opera is a lyrical drama. And most of the operas are in Russian, German, Spanish, and French and other languages which most Americans and English speaking people don't understand. There might be a few English operas also. Like in Broadway, New York, you have this vaudevilles, opera houses are there. Okay. So, nevertheless, what I'm trying to say here is, in all these countries and all these operas, the content of the opera is mostly sexual jealousies, and all the vices that humans are victims of, such as avarice, lust, vanity, greed, gluttony, envy, and sloth. Now, the government of India has never ever taken up seriously propagation of Indian culture, mainly the Indian epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, which contain such wonderful values which are definitely far better than the content found in these Western operas. But the government has not done that. And the government defends its decision by giving land to film studios on the grounds that it generates foreign exchange and income and employment. Fine. The objection, my dear friends, is very simple. Who has the responsibility to create commercial value? If the government gives land, puts up colleges where young people can take up these courses, you can take up sculpture, and we don't have such institutions. And once, the government does a little work, creates publicity, then foreigners, tourists, and even our own people will throng these places. Then once the commercial worth is created, at that time, if the government withdraws from further funding, it's all right, because then the private entrepreneurs will get into that. So that is the minimum that the government has to do. Whereas the government seems to be hell-bent on only earning money at the expense of our culture. Now the government seriously can be held responsible for bringing about the destruction, degeneration of the actual and original Indian culture, and today what you have is nothing but filmy culture, and the youth are shamelessly aping the West.